With this website, a Northwest Iowa woman is giving voice to the voiceless, the victims of unsolved crimes. This month, Channel 13 News teamed up with IowaColdCases.org to look into some of the cases that have stumped police and left families searching for justice.
Tonight, more about the woman behind that website and her own search for answers. Channel 13's Aaron Brulbeck has the story.
That was in '67.
For Jody Ewing of Ottawa near Sioux City, this is her calling, remembering the forgotten, profiling cold, unsolved cases throughout the state. The project started out in 2005 when Ewing was working as a newspaper reporter. She did a series on cold cases, and more victims' families began asking her for help.
By the time I finished that cold case series, I had so many people that had contacted me, and I felt so bad that I couldn't, write about their family member, that I decided, well, I'll just start up a website and start putting the cases on there.
5 years later, IowaColdCases.org profiles more than 300 victims, everything from missing persons to murders. Some of those cases date back decades. Ewing meticulously researches each one, contacting police, news reporters, and family members, often forming tight bonds with them.
I hate to say this, but I correspond and I speak with some of these victims' family members more often than I do my own family. And, but they call in for updates, and if they get any other information, they contact me.
For 2 years, Ewing researched these cold cases, never really knowing what these victims' families were going through. But all that changed on August 8, 2007. Ewing's stepfather, Earl Thielander, was fixing up an old house when copper thieves broke in and stole all the water and propane gas lines, causing gas and water to leak. The fire department was called and cleared the air, but there was still a hidden pocket of gas underneath the porch. When Thielander plugged in a fan, the house exploded.
The explosion blew him over into the opposite corner of the basement, and he was still able to get out of, he crawled out of there. And he tried to call my mom, but his cell phone wouldn't work because he had it on him. And he got in his truck and drove himself the 2 miles back to town.
My first thought was, oh gosh, whoever it was that came out and broke into the house and stole the copper lines came back and beat him up.
But that wasn't the case. Earl Thielander had been severely burned in the explosion. His wife rushed him to the hospital. She still remembers the doctor telling her Earl wouldn't make it.
He said, and then about the fourth day, he said, you'll have to start making a decision of what you want to do. Well, the minute he said that, then I knew he meant that we'd probably have to decide whether to have him live or not.
I can remember feeling angry at the time, thinking, how dare he imply that Earl's not, even imply that Earl's not going to make it. But, of course, he knew better than I. He had seen Earl, and he had second and third degree burns over 80% of his body. I mean, a 30-year-old could not have survived that.
Earl Thielander died 4 days later.
And I told him I loved him. And, of course, he had tubes in his mouth and everywhere. And he went, I love you. And that was the last time that he talked to us.
The people who stole the piping that led to the explosion have never been caught. Police just ran out of leads, and Ewing became part of the cold cases on her site.
And that's when it really hit me, and that was in '08, I believe, that they finally said it. It's, they've run out the leads, it's dead-ended, and the case has gone cold. And then I just went in, and it felt really, really a little bit surreal, putting his name on there, to the website.
Ewing often spends 16 hours or more a day working on the site. She doesn't get paid for it. It's strictly volunteer. She says she has to do it in the name of justice.
The victims deserve it, and the family members of the victims deserve justice.
Ewing says she'll continue adding names to the website as long as cold cases in Iowa remain unsolved. You can check out our website for yourself. There's a link to it on our website, WHOTV.com.
And Aaron, you've gotten such a response just in the past month doing these few cold case stories that you're going to continue doing them.
Right. We're going to try to do them every single Thursday. We're going to continue working with IowaColdCases.com and or .org rather, and just see how many of these things we can hopefully find some resolution for.
Okay, that would be great. Thanks, Aaron.
Parts of Iowa